Technology is here to stay in your day-to-day operations and functionalities within the human resources field. Whether you are interacting with the employees, creating reports for the C-suite, you're going to need to rely on some form of technology in order to make things a little bit more efficient for yourself. So what types of technologies are out there, and what other types of technologies that I find very interesting, as this market is actually a $17 billion market and it is growing over 10% every year. There's a lot of companies out there that are entering the marketplace, and they all want your attention in the human resources field so that they can create a solution that's really good for the employees and really good for you. So first up, I'm going to say payroll is going to be your first and foremost type of software that you will be using, because obviously the employees have to be compensated. And nested underneath of this, I'm going to say the timekeeping part, as well as requesting time off, which is the PTO and sick time off. Those things have to be taken care of, as well as scheduling. And that's a huge part of the human resources function. Moving on to an HRIS, that is a human resources information system. This has a tendency to bundle a lot of the other types of softwares that I'm going to talk about in this video. This includes payroll, benefits administration, as well as an LMS, that is a learning management system, and a performance management system. An HRIS can have a lot of add-ons and out-of-the-box things that are good for you to help you be more efficient. Now, let's move on to benefits administration. So the types of benefits that the company, if you're working for a company that offers benefits to the employees, they will have like the medical, dental, vision, 401k, things like that. And a benefits administration system helps with the open enrollment process. It also helps with any changes where if someone has had some sort of a life event, whether they got married, divorced, had a baby, had a death in the family, things like that. A benefits administration system will help you function a little bit better and more efficient to capture all those changes and movements within the staff. Next up is your ATS and recruiting. I'm going to bundle these together. An ATS is an applicant tracking system. This captures information for employees or from candidates who are applying for the position to work for the organization. You'll be able to parse different types of data from their resume, from their background, to determine whether or not they are worth continuing on in a conversation, coming in for the interview or even a video interview, and following through the entire process to become an employee with the organization. Now, a recruiting system will help you build relationships with your candidates, get to know them a little bit more. They may not qualify for a particular position that was open with your organization, but a good recruitment management system will help you stay in touch with them and help you build a stronger rapport with them throughout their candidacy. It also is responsible for building out workflows, making sure the onboarding process works very seamlessly. So when you have a candidate that applies for a position, they go through the interview, they successfully pass the background checking process, then you would extend an offer to them. So the offer letter flows through the workflow, and you receive all of the approvals from the managers and issue out the equipment, and the onboarding process begins. All of that is nested within the recruitment management system. LMS, which is a learning management system, as I mentioned earlier, this allows you to assign certain courses and different certificates and certifications that the employee is interested in participating in order for them to get to the next level within their career and within the organization. Learning management system is also responsible for assuring all of the mandatory trainings and things like that are issued out to the employee, so that like harassment training in different states have different types of requirements. You want to make sure that you keep track of who's taking the trainings, who's finishing the trainings, And to take it a step further, you want to see some sort of ROI, some return on investment when it comes to these learning management systems, because it's not so much of just the employee taking the class or finishing the training or getting a certificate. You want to see them actually implement it in their day-to-day. Have they improved in their customer service or interpersonal interactions within the organization? You want to make sure, and especially like when it comes to leaders, you want to make sure that they have soft skills and that they are actually communicating very clearly with the staff when it comes to setting expectations. Performance management is another good one because you want to be able to keep track of how well an employee is capable of doing their job. And if they're performing a little higher, then if they're performing above and beyond, you want to be able to move them to the next level within the organization. And you want to add some compensation along with that as they complete the things that they need to complete, and they are efficient, they are contributing in a very positive fashion to the organization. You want to continue rewarding them. So keeping track of their performance, and even for employees that aren't performing very well, you want to keep tabs on that because maybe the job is not really good for them, but maybe they can do better in some other part within the organization. And all of this leads me to analytics. You want to have a really good system that captures analytics, and it captures how well the employees are performing, what the attrition rate is within the organization, whether or not you have a problematic manager that's within the organization, and how long employees stay with the organization, how many of them are retiring, how many of them are being promoted. Things like that. You want to capture all of that information because that is data that the C-suite needs in order to make proper planning for in the future for different budgets and things like that. So they're always looking for some sort of a dashboard or analytics that goes along with managing and keeping the staff within the organization. So those are the basic systems that you will interact with. Some noteworthy ones that I want to talk about is your virtual reality type, AI type systems that are out there. Virtual reality allows you to train the employees in a virtual environment, whether you want to train them on harassment and different scenarios, maybe customer and client facing scenarios that you want them to be aware of, and you want to make sure that they are thoroughly trained on those things. VR is a great way of immersing them into an environment that allows them to think and understand that these are scenarios that they will encounter, and so they won't be startled or caught off guard when they encounter these scenarios in the workplace. Another noteworthy one is compensation. Compensation is something that is critical, very important. It goes beyond just payroll and benefits that's being offered to the employees, but it encompasses everything. The cost per hire, the things, the equipment that are being issued to the employees, and how the company can properly plan and stay competitive in the market when it comes to offering a very comprehensive compensation package. Employee engagement system allows you to keep tabs on where the employee satisfaction is. You can do surveys and really connect with the employees. You can make these anonymous as well, just to keep tabs on how well they're doing at their job, in their department, underneath of a particular manager, or within the organization alone, just making sure that their role is well suited for them. Now, of course, you're going to get back some negative feedback, but having these surveys and keeping a pulse on what is going on within the organization is very important. Wellness is another very important system because not only wellness as far as mental health and things like that, this is at the top of the minds of a lot of employees these days, as well as financial wellness. It's very important to keep tabs on some of the things that the employees need from the organization, or some of the things that they worry about on a day-to-day basis when they come into work. What is their financial wellness? Are they living paycheck to paycheck? How can the organization roll out something that will help them budget and manage their finances a little bit better, given the compensation that they are receiving from your organization, so that they're not at risk of leaving the organization because there's not enough pay and there's not enough benefits that goes along with working for your company. You might want to definitely consider rolling out some sort of wellness to understand that the employees are their whole selves. They're not just worker bees who come to work every day and they don't have anything else going on outside of the workplace. So it is important to bring that humanistic expectation back into the workplace. And last but not least are background checks, skills assessments, things like that. These are types of softwares that you will be interacting with, especially during the recruitment process. But I place these in a category by themselves because they come as a deal alone. They don't automatically come within your recruitment system or ATS. They're kind of like add-ons. So you want to make sure when you're using these background checking systems that you have procedures in place to manage these systems correctly without bias. And I'll get into that in a different video. If there is a type of software that you are familiar with, that you have encountered in the workplace that you would like to share and you would like to suggest that to this channel, I would like to hear that in the comments. That's it for me in this video. If you like what you've heard, click subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.